Welcome back, Helldivers. Just when you thought those content updates were done, there's more to come, friends, and we have a lot to cover and build off from our last video, so let's dive in. So in our previous video, we talked about how the narrative around the automatons is starting to change. Obviously, we have the Magma Worlds update, which we've been enjoying so much, and we're trying to get all that new resource, but also, what were the automatons using the resource for? And we were speculating of how they are using it to create new units, but then also showing off the inclusion of the cyborgs that we're starting to see on the map. And friends, we have some more intel that is confirming that this is all related to the Factory Worlds update for the campaign narrative on the automaton front. We have so much to cover over here, and we're going to go break it down for you one by one, so let's look at the first bit now. So as we talked about before, we are eventually going to be making our way to Cybersam, which is the home world of the automatons, to neutralize the threat. That is the end goal. But to get there, we're going to have to go through these things known as the Factory Worlds, and we have our first look at it. You can see from this image over here, the long buildings, the smokestacks coming over, and then the automaton writing. This is our first glimpse at what the actual Factory Worlds look like. But what will they be producing, and what other type of units will they have? Well, we'll be getting into that just a little bit. But I've also showed off the end animation in the previous video for what happens when we defeat the bots. So if you're curious about that, go check out the previous video. But let's continue on. So to further back up our idea that the cyborgs are going to be tied to the Factory Worlds update, we have some more images aside from that one that we showed previously, which is the cyborg that is shooting actively at our Helldiver, and it's from our POV to him. And that looks pretty dope, and we talked about how aggressive they were in the first game, and I would love to see them back. But as you can see in these images over here, got some cool assets that are being brought in, and a little bit of a nightmare feel too, because if you kind of look at these ones at the end, that kind of looks a bit horrifying, but I'm excited to fight it. But to support these cyborgs, the automatons are also releasing super heavy units, and we speculated previously that they are probably on par of the size of the Factory Strider, and now we can look at the assets and how they are stacked up against each other, and we could certifiably say that that was accurate. But it's not just the bots that are going to be benefiting from the Factory Worlds update. Us Helldivers are going to get kitted out to the teeth with new gear, and it looks amazing. We have new armors and new weapons, and obviously the other stratagems that I showed before, but let's show it all right now. So first up again, we have the T220 Bastion. Now this again is a super heavy tank. This is going to help us take out that siege engine, that's for sure. And it's got the two firing modes that we covered previously. But you can see we have one more additional asset image that we're showing, and I cannot wait to use this. Now next on to our weapons, we have primaries. So first up we have the Las 13, which is going to be an energy-based weapon akin to the scythe that we showed in the previous video. And I'm ready for another energy-based weapon. Then next up we're going to have the Trench Shotgun, and this is going to be thematically tied to some armor that it will also show. But as you can see, this is a pump-action shotgun, so it should have a lot of power behind it. The next is going to be the Fire SMG. Now, we talked in a previous video about how certain weapons are going to have more caustic weaponry to them, or fire-based or energy-based, and this is going to be one of those that's coming forward. So I'm excited to see how quickly it melts through our enemies. Then keeping with our trench fighter theme, we are going to be getting a trench sweeper pistol that is a throwback to World War I, and this looks great. I can't wait to use it. Now on to our stratagem weapons. We're going to show off again the sledgehammer that we showed previously. I can't wait to have another melee that's going to be mauling enemies, and this thing looks very powerful, so it's going to be a lot of fun to use for sure. And then for our pyro-loving friends, we are going to be getting another flamethrower, and that is going to be the Heavy Flamer. And as you can see over here, again, has the old school World War I look to it, and hopefully does a lot more damage than our previous one. Then coming out swinging hard with more destructive power, we're going to have a belt-fed grenade launcher. This thing is going to definitely be on par for our autocannon, I think, in terms of destructive power, and it's going to be great for clearing out these Factory Worlds without any problems. And then as for our throwable, well, it's not going to be doing damage, but it is a defensive item. Yes. When you throw this out, it's going to be deploying an energy shield for you wherever the grenade lands, and that's pretty awesome. I can't wait to use this. And then to go alongside this trench theme, we do know of some helmets that we'll be getting, and the first one up is going to be the Trench Trooper helmet. This thing has the brim. It looks really cool. Again, a throwback to World War One. And then going a little bit away from that, we are going to be getting the Valkyrie helmet, which is interesting, more ceremonial looking, but definitely very cool. And then I'm liking this one because I could see in the code for the language here, it's codenamed Ox, and you know, Brother Ox over here, I'm guessing I'm going to have to be rocking this helmet, or maybe Arrowhead made it specifically for myself. Definitely not, but that's just funny. But then to round us out for the helmets, we have something that is unknown for the name, but it kind of looks like a Siegebreaker's helmet. Looks like it has like a barrier on his head for smashing through enemies. I mean, we're not going to have that as an emote. Maybe we will, who knows. But it definitely looks cool. And then we also know that we'll be getting a new cape, and I will preface and say that this is a very poor quality image, but you know, maybe it looks better when it's actually coming out. Okay, so we covered a lot today, and obviously the theme of the factory world is definitely going to be reminiscent and paying homage to World War I for Helldivers. I love that. You know, going old school and fighting old school enemies that are coming back into the fold. It's going to be a lot of fun, so I'm very much looking forward to this narrative. We're not sure the timing of when it's going to happen, but hopefully pretty soon. But be sure to check out our older videos for the different leaks that we've showed previously, especially the last one. And, you know, if you liked and appreciated all the information, please drop us a like, a comment, anything like that. It helps us out over here. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.